But as I said, we're not too far away, and actually the second Team Green car spins as well. This is Paul Tracy. Welcome back to our Roberto Moreno Kart Championship Season 2000 in Automobilista 2, and today we are completing the triple header of regular road courses as we are racing at the beautiful raceway Laguna Seca near Monterey, California. This is already the final road course of the season, believe it or not, as the last 4 races will all take place on ovals or street circuits. And given that I put so much hopes in these kinds of circuits, our results have been underwhelming at best. DNF at Road America, P3 at Motorsport, but that should have been P2 had I not gotten too greedy, so that podium doesn't feel as good as it should. In real life, it was a Penske 1-2 at this circuit here, with the DNF for our guy Roberto Moreno, who spun into the wall while battling with Max Papis for P14 on lap 46. This we absolutely cannot afford, as to achieve our ultimate goal to win the championship, a win is mandatory here, and even then it will be difficult in the last 4 races, so this is pretty much our last chance to get a foot back in the door. But even more worrying is that you will not see Roberto Moreno on the first page of the starting grid, as he only qualified 19th for this event, an unusually low grid position for the man that would ultimately finish the season 3rd in real life. So it will be an uphill battle from the start, as we are fighting against all odds here, but I am determined to do well. So let's go racing at Laguna Seca and take the fight to Montoya and De Ferran. Well, here we are then, going around the final corner, as this is a very inconvenient spot for the lights to go green, as we even make contact with someone there, I think, out of the final corner. Well, we keep it on the track, and now we go into the Andretti hairpin for the very first time. As we're trying to move up a couple of spots, we made it past Mauricio Gugelmin already. Ahead of us now is, well, first of all, that is Brian Herter in the Rockingham Forsyth Ford car, as this is probably our best opportunity to make up some ground. We made up 1 position in this first part of the circuit, probably the circuit's most technical bit, and then as we go into the more open and flowy bits, we move up to P16. So I think this is a somewhat okay first lap. Things are going alright, I would say, as we go through the corkscrew for the first time, as we're just behind Alex Tagliani in the other Team Forsyth car. Well, actually there's 3 Team Forsyth cars: Brian Herter in the Rockingham car, and then the 2 players' cars in light blue, Alex Tagliani and Patrick Capontier. Well, out of the final corner we go. Not a great exit, so only 3 positions made up in the first lap. It's okay, could have been better, but from now we have to pick them one by one. I think the great opportunity to make up a lot of places, well, that is gone now. As, yeah, this is not a great second lap, and, well, it took us the entire second lap to catch back up to the back of Tagliani. But then, round the outside, we tried to go on the hairpin, taking a wider line. That did not work at all, but Tagliani made it past Oriol Servia in the PPI Motorsports car ahead of us. And let's see if we can find a way past the only Spanish driver in the field as we dive down the inside here. We need to be careful. This is where Moreno has thrown it away in real life and DNF'd on lap 46. We will only drive 41 laps. As usual, we're only doing half race distance. Well, and finally there is an opportunity as Servia fights his way past Tagliani again. And we managed to slip through there as well. Show him the edge of the track there out of the hairpin, and we're up to P14. Maybe a word on strategy at this point as well. We are expecting a 2-stop race, although there is a somewhat realistic chance for a 1-stop if we manage to save some fuel. Actually, I think it's split between 1 and 2 stops. If we manage to save a lot of fuel on both stints, we might be able to do it on just 1 stop, as we are trying to get alongside Servia into the corkscrew, but we back out of that move, so this gives me more opportunity to talk about the strategy again. As that usually means, as it's on the brink of a 1 or 2 stop, I think if there is a full course yellow, I'm pretty sure we can definitely make it on 1 stop. If the race stays green throughout, then it will be a bit tricky. But for now, I'm not focusing on saving fuel, but on actually trying to make a bit of way through the grid there. Dangerous into the Andretti hairpin, because sometimes the AI just swerves out there to defend, or in this case, attack. Servia has a look around the outside now of Max Papis. Oh, but I think he might have compromised his exit there. I do not dare to put my wheel alongside there, but then now we go towards this corner. We tried it down the inside 2 laps ago. Now round the outside we go, we squeeze him, and we are past and up to P13. So next car on the road is Max Papis, and I think our pace is really good, you can already tell that, but we are dropping back from the guys at the very, very, very front of the field. So let's try and make quick work of the Italy in the Nations Cup, the only nation that hasn't scored yet. They only have 1 driver, Max Papis. Currently he's sitting in 12th. This would be the final point scoring positions in this kart era point system. As we try to get a better exit out of the final corner, we go back in the slipstream, but finally we have an isolated car going into the Andretti hairpin. We get that inside line. He's still alongside there, a bit ahead even, but he leaves us the room, and we complete that move. So that has taken us 5 laps and 1 corner to get into the point scoring positions. P12 now, and now there's a bit of open road ahead of us. Well, and as you see, we jumped ahead in time here a bit. I tried to switch down the fuel mode, or I did switch down the fuel mode for a bit when I was trying to catch up with those guys, but now as I'm in a fight again, I think it is worth an effort to burn some fuel again and try to make it past Patrick Carpentier, who is the next full-size car on the road. Oh, and I don't know if you saw that. I almost missed it while rewatching. There was a car off in the gravel, so we move up to P11, and that is one of the Team Green cars, Dario Franchitti. Again, a bit of an issue for one of the Team Green cars. Franchitti, I think he spun in motorsport, and we had to go off the road to avoid him. Then we came together with Franchitti at Road America as well, which ended our race back then. So yeah, these road course races not going to plan for Franchitti. Always involved in something. At least this time we managed to avoid him, as he was way off the road, as I almost thought I was going for a dive down the inside of Carpentier. But now this might be another opportunity, but I think we might be too far away into the hairpin. And yes, we are. He has a little bit of a jink towards the inside there. And then round the outside, yeah, this space is always going to disappear, so we have to wait for a better opportunity. And now we are very, very close to Carpentier. And that is a late and ambitious dive, but somehow we make it stick, and now something very curious is happening. You hear the sound disappearing from the game, and this was because my Steam overlay opened in VR. I was extremely confused, only to find out that one of my friends has actually tried to watch my stream, or watch me play, which has opened the Steam overlay. I get this issue resolved. It has taken me like 10 minutes to find out how to close the overlay in Steam again, and I'm on Do Not Disturb, so I don't know why the flipping overlay opened. I flipped off Patrick Carpentier in complete annoyance because I was very happy about that move, and now I had to give the position away because I just panicked and had to press escape. Even with the overlay opening, the game was not pausing. So, yeah, Steam, what the fuck was that? But at least we get on the very next lap the opportunity to get that position back, and we do just that into the corkscrew. So we're up to P10 again. We lost a bit of time overall with that situation caused by Steam. Yeah, I calmed myself down a bit. It has taken me a bit to get back into the rhythm, as this race was going incredibly well, so this was why I was so frustrated, and I actually thought I had lost the recording, because for 5 minutes I didn't get to close the overlay in virtual reality. I was so frustrated, but now I'm back, and I'm back with a great opportunity here against Michael Andretti, who in his fight with our teammates comes off a bit worse, and then there is an opportunity and we show him the outside curb, and we're up to P9, and we are getting closer to that pit window, and to have a good chance of making it on one stop, I think we should stop at the end of lap 20, and then we should still save a lot of fuel in the second stint. Now, I turned down the fuel mixture to lean now, to really save as much fuel as I can. I need around 6 and a bit liters of fuel every lap. I try to observe this while driving in the last couple of laps to be absolutely sure I come into pits as late as possible to keep that option open for the one-stop strategy, even under green flag conditions. But as I said, we're not too far away, and actually the second Team Green car spins as well. This is Paul Tracy, and all of the cars behind react, and we come with a lot of momentum out of the corner, and we pass 4 cars there, including the spun out Paul Tracy that caused a bit of a not pile up, but the cars backing up there. And we took that opportunity. There was no yellow flag, and even better news, some of the cars already going in at the end of lap 17. So we are up to P3 already as we end lap 17. So this is looking really good. These cars that stopped already, I don't think they will be able to do the one stop. I am now in first, even a lap later, and it is on the brink whether I have to stop at the end of this lap or the next lap. It's really on the edge, the fuel. I think it was 12 point a bit as we crossed the line, and remember I said 6 point something is what I need per lap. So ideally I can make it one more, and then we would be close to that one stop, especially if there is then a caution. The game now recommends for me to come in at the end of this lap, and look at the bottom right, 7.7, 7.5 now. Oh, this will be really, really tight, and yes, I think I'm in a position where I can risk a couple of things, but then again, I don't want to risk a DNF when I can easily come in, because we are the last car to stop now. These are lapped cars that are still in the pits there, and of course retired cars. So they actually stopped at the end of lap 18, so we're the only car that managed to get to the end of lap 19. Maybe we could have made it for one more, but this would have been like on a knife's edge if we actually made it to our pit box. So we played it safe, as we think we still have a strategic advantage, because we can extend that stint even further. So let's see, as we come out of the pits, we even gain one position as we're up to 4th, leaving the pits, but this is a very painful pit exit, and I don't get the corner done with the cold tires, so I slide off the road there, or back onto the road then. But yeah, not ideal how I took that pit exit. Now behind me is, well, who is that? I think it has to be Christian Fittipaldi in the Newman Haas cars, so he was one of the first ones to come in. So we jumped him by staying out longer, these 2 laps longer that we managed. But we have the colder tires, getting up to temperature, and I think we just keep that position. But we need to save even more fuel on that second stint to make it on the one stop that I, at this point, was still aiming for. But it's very much dependent on how this race develops. But we're close to the podium, and there are good chances that we might even finish on it. So, tires are now up to temperature, and things are looking very, very good right now. So, we jump ahead in time again now. Exactly 4.5 laps, that is. And we were actually gaining, because I think everybody is saving fuel. We were gaining on the car in P3, which is championship leader Juan Pablo Montoya. So let's see if we can actually go for a move. I'm always still in the lean fuel mix, but I think if I get close, I might even turn it up to try and get past and then get away from him, because I don't want to get stuck anywhere either, especially since I think most of the AI drivers will go for the 2-stop. Well, look at that. That opportunity came much earlier than expected. And he leaves the door open. So, don't mind if I do. So, turn down the fuel again. Try to stay ahead, not immediately lose that position, of course. But as we approach the corkscrew, I don't think he's close enough to make a move. And he isn't. So, up to the podium spots we are. And now, it is a race of watching how the strategies develop and how they turn out. So look at that, now traffic is becoming a factor again as we are almost alongside Gilles de Ferran, who is in P2 in a Penske 1-2. But that's a bit annoying as Tasso Marquez gets in our way there. And then there is Shinji Nakano as well, but we clear him quite easily. But I think at this point I was realizing I don't think I'm gonna make it on the fuel. Again, it's 10 laps to go. 6 point something liters of fuel per lap, but we are not saving enough at this moment. So I decided now it will be time to push, go for it, try to make it on the road, because as I said, I'm certain they are 2-stopping. I'm pretty certain, so we can afford to do that as well and now actually fight it on the road, because we see both Penskes just ahead of us now. Well, and is this already the first opportunity going towards the corkscrew? No, not quite yet. We are too far away from Gilles de Ferran, who's currently second in the championship. So this is also good news. If we actually would manage to win this one, de Ferran and Montoya only third and fourth they would finish as it stands right now. And into the final corner. We did this against Carpentier earlier. Then my game just almost destroyed that race. This time, nothing along those lines is happening. And now it is time to push, and hunt down Elio Castroneves. And there you see it. This is when I fully gave up on any fuel saving. Rich fuel mix, maximum performance out of that car, as we will now definitely go for a splash and dash with a couple of laps to go. And look at that, we are close enough now on the approach towards the corkscrew. We're even alongside later on the brakes than Castroneves. Lock the front left a little bit, but we'll also go for fresh tires in that last pit stop that we will take, I think, maybe 2-3 laps to go. And now watching our mirrors as we have just taken the race lead, Castroneves is coming in for his splash and dash. So indeed, the AI is going, or at least the cars around us, were also going for that two-stop. No one managed to nurse the fuel and to stretch it over more than 20 laps. We all had a shorter first stint, so yeah, it wasn't possible without the full course yellow as we approach Memo Gitley, I think that was, who is now in that car? Or was it Alex Barron? I am not sure, and I'm very sorry that I'm not sure, but yeah, we are past that back marker, definitely. A lot of switching around in those cars at the lower end of the grid. Roberto Fontana was driving it in some of the races at the beginning of the season. As I decided now that it would be time to counter and to go in now, fresh tires and a splash of fuel to make it to the end, and this will be crucial. Where do we come out at the end of this pit stop? Do we manage to stay ahead of both Penske's, the two positions that we had taken in the couple of laps before that pit stop? So tires are being changed, fuel is going in, the tires even last a bit longer than the fuel. Again, they will be cold as we leave the pits, but Castroneves and de Ferran were facing the same issue just a lap earlier. This time, be a bit more careful on the pit exit. This is the only thing that could trip us over at this moment, but we leave the pits in P1. We will take care as we just leave the pit lane. Also, there are some micro lags, which always happens when there is like a two-stint race, a two-stop race. When the AI do or come in the pits for a second stop, there's always like a micro stutter, which is super annoying. It doesn't happen at the first round of pit stops, it only starts to happen at the second round of pit stops for the AI. I don't know why this is the case, but our tires are slowly getting up to temperature, and we jump ahead in time as we go across the line for the penultimate time now to start our last lap. And this is just about bringing it home, and if we manage that, which should sound easy enough, right? It would be job done. P19 to P1, and we didn't even need much of a strategy for that. We just jumped one car in the pits. We did it all on the road. We were a bit lucky, of course, with Dario Franchitti spinning out and then Paul Tracy spinning out, which actually gained us 4 positions. So that was really important, because it was hard to pick the cars one by one when they were fighting in a group at this track. But the Team Green cars this time around helped us, and they were a bit of a problem for us in the past. As we come round the final corner now to win the Grand Prix of Monterey for Roberto Moreno, and this is now really a drive worthy of a champion. Let's hope this could bring us back in the championship in the second half of the season. And let's of course look at the point scorers of this race, and it is a Brazilian 1, 2, 3. Juan Pablo Montoya only 4th. Again, a good result for our teammate who finishes this race in P6, scoring some decent points for Patrick Racing, if there actually were a team championship, which there wasn't, which is a bit weird, but I guess alright. Max Papis also finishes in P12. That is also noteworthy because it's the first point for Italy in the Nations Cup. And this is how this result translates into the championship standings. When Pablo Montoya still leads 4 points ahead of Gilles de Ferran, we move up to P3. That is the good news. The bad news, and this is actually very bad news, is that we are still 32 points behind championship leader Juan Pablo Montoya, and with 20 points on offer for the race win, he is way over a race win clear of us. So we can win races, yes, but we need for Juan Pablo and Gilles to have an absolute stinker in one of those remaining 4 races to get back in the championship fight. And now, I've mentioned it already, let's also look at the Nations and Engine Cups. Brazil, with that amazing 1-2-3 there today, are now 14 points clear of Colombia, which still is very remarkable because that is only Juan Pablo Montoya. United States are dropping back and actually being caught by Sweden, which is also just one driver, Kenny Brack. And in P12, equal in points with Argentina, is now Italy with that 1 point scoring result for Max Papis. In the Engine Cups, Ford, with that race win today that we have taken for them, is now in the lead, 6 points ahead of Toyota and a further 4 points ahead of Honda. Mercedes still waiting for the first points result since Rio, the second race of this season. And that has been it with the Grand Prix of Monterey here at Laguna Seca. I hope to see you all the next time when we will go racing at an oval again. It is time for Gateway then. Subscribe to not miss that. Leave a like if you did enjoy this video, and I hope to see you all the next time. Until then, goodbye.